Hello and welcome back to another episode of Injustice For All MMA. My name is David, and this episode is for UFC Fight Night, Sandhagen versus Dillashaw. Overall, this fight card, great, a lot of finishes, very few decisions, but we're back with something we've been missing for a long time, and it's not a good thing that it's back, but we're back in form. That's the reason why we have this show, Injustice For All MMA, because we have two injustices. That's wrong. We have one injustice, okay? We have one injustice, and we'll start off with that one, which is Maverick versus Barber. My scorecard was 29-28. Maverick. I had the first two rounds for Maverick. This was a split D. That third round was very close, in my opinion, but obviously it was a 10-9 for Barber, 29-28 for Maverick on my scorecard. Now, when you go to the judges' scorecards, this is when you get a little faulty. So, Chris Lee had it 29-28. He had my scorecard, and then Dave Hagen and Saul D'Amato had it 29-28 for Barber. And the issue in question is that second round, with them giving a 10-9 to Barber. In that second round, it was very close on the feet, but Miranda got a takedown at the end. It was very, very close on the feet, but Maverick got a takedown at the very end, with some time left. It was kind of to close out the round. It wasn't like at the very end where the clock stops, but it's to close out the round. And I think it was enough to get her the round, because it's very close on the feet. Very, very few strikes on the feet. Very close, very even in strikes, and the two judges somehow gave that to Barber. I don't see how that wins her the fight at all. I thought that was really bad by Dave Hagen and Saul D'Amato. That's the first injustice we've had in a long time, and it's fitting that it comes in Vegas. So there's that. To my favorite portion, the honorable mentions. The first honorable mention, okay, is Soriano versus Allen. My scorecard was obvious, 30-27. 30-27 Allen. Dave Hagen had 30-27 Allen. Chris Lee had 29-28. And Junichiro Kamijo had 30-27 Allen. Now, we move over to Chris Lee, where he seems to have given the first round to Soriano. Now, here's what's confusing about that, right? It's very close, right? Soriano seems to be hitting heavy shots, but so is Allen. But Soriano's hitting heavy shots, but towards that last 30 to 15 seconds of the fight, it's roughly even, and Allen distances himself from Soriano in terms of strikes, thus winning him the round. And it's, again, I don't know what to say here other than Chris Lee got it wrong, obviously. That should have been a 30-27 on all three judges' scorecards, and it sucks that his scorecard had to look like that. So honorable mention for Chris Lee. Now we go to arguably, I haven't checked who got fight of the night yet, but this might be fight of the night, low key. This was Phillips versus Paiva. I had it 29-28 Paiva. This was too easy to score. I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, but this was too easy to score. Problem with this is all the judges had it roughly correct, except for one, Saul D'Amato, who gave a 10-8 to Phillips. And recently there's been a lot of hoo-ha on 10-8s, 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 and everyone's whining about 10-8s. I've explained 10-8s like 50 fucking times, but it seems as though that 10-8s are becoming subjective now, where they really shouldn't, right? We know them as you have to dominate the round. And if you watch that fight, if you watch that very first round, yes, Phillips ends the round on top, giving out ground and pound. But that's just the wrong way to look at it. When Phillips is outstriking him on the feet. Yes, he gets a knockdown. Okay. But once he gets knocked down, not only is Paiva giving back shots, he then gets 2 takedowns. He gets 2 takedowns mixed into the round, and he's giving back he's giving back shots on the feet up until the end of the round, where he then, I believe, gets taken down and then gets given some ground and pound to end the round. That does not warrant a 10-8. We've seen many fights like this where Saul D'Amato has given, and other judges, I'm not crapping on Saul D'Amato, but other judges have given 10-9s. This is the problem, right? Is that, yes, every fight is different. There's no doubt. Every fight is different. But at the same time, they're not. Okay? Because when the strikes are relatively close, not saying that this was, but when the strikes are relatively close, but it ends in a crazy fashion, right? Right? The same sort of thing happened with Kubilava versus I think it was Jacoby, right? Where in the middle of, I think, the first round or the second, I'm not sure, Kubilava kind of pins him to the fence, and he gives out some devastating elbows. Now, here's the problem. It's for maybe 10 seconds? But, and sure, that's a 10-9. But in no way is that a 10-8, because it's not as though he did that for the entire round or had him on the fence for the entire round and was giving out ground and pound. And then the elbows came in. You know, it's nonsense that people are just throwing out 10-8s. So yeah, this should have been a 29-28 on all judges' scorecards, but instead it's an honorable mention for Saul D'Amato. And then a fight that shouldn't be controversial, but seems as though I haven't checked social media or anything before recording this, but from the way the commentary sounded, and you can tell when DC just says, "How confident are you when this fight was announced?" You can tell he thinks that the other guy won, which isn't bad when he asked that to Barber, because Barber genuinely lost. That's a genuine loss, but this fight was much closer than people thought it was. I thought it was going to look different from my scorecard, but these look a little wonky. These scorecards look a little wonky. Now, just full disclosure, I had Dillashaw winning this fight. All right, my scorecard is 48-47 Dillashaw, with me giving him a 10-9 in the first, the third, and the fourth. Okay, so I had Sandhagen with a 10-9 in the second and the fifth. Now, you look at these judges' scorecards, and on all 3 judges' scorecards in the first 2 rounds, they're clear, right? It's pretty objective who won those rounds. You can't dispute those. That's undisputable. The closest round, I thought, for me personally, because this seems like it's about to be a disputed thing, is the third round. Now, all 3 judges agreed with my scorecard that the edge goes to Dillashaw. It's a close round on the feet with the edge to Sandhagen, but Dillashaw kind of mixed in a takedown, and he had a lot of clinch control. That's what won him that third round, as reflected on 3 judges' scorecards and on my scorecard. That's the closest round to me, because Sandhagen outstrikes him in that round. I would say barely, right? But still to Dillashaw. That's the closest round to me. 4th and 5th is where we get into weirdo territory. This is where we get into weirdo territory. So Camacho's scorecard is the only one that reflects mine completely, right? Where he has 1, 3, and 4 for Dillashaw. So I won't even look at his card. We're going to focus on Saul D'Amato and Derek Cleary. So, like we said before, all three of their scorecards reflect mine. The first two are undisputable. The third one, to me, is the one where I think you can kind of, you could argue for Cody, actually, for Corey. We go to 4, where 4 is for Dillashaw. And in this one, it's close on the feet as well. But Dillashaw mixes in the leg kicks and, again, the clinch control. Derek Cleary and Saul D'Amato, Derek Cleary and Saul D'Amato give the 4th round to Sandhagen. I don't know how they saw this, but once again, it's weird. I've seen scorecards where this exact same thing happens. That round 4 happens a lot, and you mix in another martial art, and you win the round. This has happened in multiple fights, but somehow they just gave the 2 judges gave this. They gave that to Corey. No. Derek Cleary in the end, in the 5th round, gives a 10-9 to Corey. 100%. It's obvious, right? It's kind of close on the feet, but you give the edge to Sandhagen. He's outstriking Dillashaw in that round. Saul D'Amato gives it to Dillashaw somehow. That's insane. The 5th round for Saul D'Amato is insane. Now, I think the 4th round belongs to Dillashaw, but he gives the 5th to Dillashaw. That's stupid. It's kind of like when Camijo gave the 5th to Brandon Moreno. Granted, I thought Brandon Moreno won that fight, but not the 5th round. There's a lot of complaints about judging tonight, which I thought was a little unwarranted because, they were talking about, if somebody, if they mix in the grappling and this and that. Listen, the Paiva versus Phillips fight was 29-28, objectively speaking. Somehow, they thought that was wrong. The Barber fight, that was obviously wrong, 100%. And then this one, people had it 2-2 going in. I disagree with that. Though the third is close, so I'm not mad with them having that. So I can see how if other people's scorecards had it as 2-2 going into the 5th, it would have been, yes, they would have had Sandhagen winning, but it would have been that 3rd round in my mind that flips it for them. Overall, great card. Thank you for listening, and God bless.